to the point. Let's continue our discussion on Indian architecture, and our topic is about Mauryan art and architecture. So with the advent of Buddhism and Jainism, which were the part of Shramana tradition in the 4th century BCE, the religious and social scenario of the Gangetic Valley, it undergone some changes, and both the religions, that is Buddhism and Jainism, it opposed Varna and Jati system, which were practiced in the Vedic age, and they gained the patronage over Kshatriya rulers who had grown weary of Brahminical supremacy. And the Mauryans, they established their power. So we see a clear demarcation of architecture and sculpture which is developed under state patronage and those which were developed by individual initiative. And therefore the Mauryan art, it can be classified as court art and popular art. Court art includes palaces, pillars and stupas, and popular arts includes caves, pottery and sculptures. Let's discuss in detail about this Mauryan art and its classification. Court art. The Mauryan rulers, they commissioned a large number of architectural works for political as well as religious reasons, and these works are referred as court art. It includes palaces, pillars and stupas. Palaces. The Mauryan Empire, it was the first powerful empire to come to power in India, and the capital of Mauryan Empire was Pataliputra, and the places at Kumrahar, it were created to reflect the splendor of the Mauryan Empire. The place of Chandragupta Maurya, it was inspired by Achaemenid palaces at Persepolis in Iran. So these people used wood as a principal building material, and Megasthenes described the palace as one of the greatest creation of mankind. And similarly, Ashoka's palace at Kumrahar, it was a massive structure and it had a high central pillar and it was 3-story wooden structure. The palace walls, they were decorated with carvings and sculptures. So the picture shown here, it depicts the site of a palace at Kumrahar. Pillars. So during the time of Ashoka, the inscription of pillars, it was a symbol of the state, or it was to commemorate the battle victories, which assumed a greater significance. And Ashoka, he also used pillars to propagate imperial sermons as well. So on an average of 40 feet high, the pillars were usually made with Chunar sandstone, and it comprised of 4 parts. That is, a long shaft, it formed the base, and it was made up of a single piece stone, so we can call it as monolith. That means it is made up of a single piece of a stone. On the top of it lays the capital, so which was either lotus shaped or bell shaped. Bell shaped capitals, it were influenced by Iranian pillars. So this bell shape, it was influenced by Iranian pillars, and this was highly polished and a lustrous finish of the pillars. And above the capital there was a circular or a rectangular base known as abacus, on which an animal figure was placed. So this part is called as abacus, and the animal figure placed was a 4-headed lion. So this type of pillars can be found in Lauria Nandangar pillar in Champaran and Sarnath pillar near Varanasi. So the pillars during the Ashokan period, it is used till now. The abacus and the animal part of the Sarnath pillar, it forms the official national emblem of India. And in the abacus of the Sarnath pillars, 4 animals are shown which represents 4 directions. One is a galloping horse in the west, a bull in the east, bull is in the east, and an elephant in the south, and a lion in the north. The animals, they seem to follow each other, turning the wheel of existence till the eternity. So in our national emblem, the words Satyameva Jayate, it is written, and this word is taken from an Mundaka Upanishad, which means truth alone triumphs, or it is inscribed below the abacus in Devanagari script. The capital is crowned by the wheel of the law, that is the Dharma Chakra. Stupas. The stupas, it was a burial mounds which is prevalent in India from the Vedic period, and it represents a funeral cumulus in which the relics, ashes of the dead were kept. During the period of Ashoka, the art of the stupas, it reached the climax. Almost 84,000 stupas were erected during his period only. And although a Vedic tradition, stupas were popularized by the Buddhists after the death of Buddha, 9 stupas were erected, and 8 of them had the relics of Buddha at their Medi, while the 9th one, it had the pot in which the relics were originally kept. So this is the basic diagram that represents the various parts of a stupa. The core of the stupa, it was made of unburnt bricks, while the outer surface, it was made using the burnt bricks. Means the core of the stupa, it is made with unburnt bricks, and the outer surface is made using burnt bricks, and which were then covered with a thick layer of plaster. This figure represents the basic structure of stupa with the different parts. This is Torana, east and west Torana. This is the upper level walkway where the persons can walk here, and it is a double stairway. These are South Torana. These are called as Chatras, and the base which is supporting it, it is called as Yasti. And where the Chatras and Yastis are placed, it is called as Harmika. And this is the entire stupa dome. And the fence of this stupa, it is made out of stone, that is stone fence. The Medi and this Torana, it was decorated with wooden structure, and devotees, they walk around this passage, or it is also called as Pradakshina Patha, or open ambulatory passageway. They used to walk as a token of worship. Example, Sanchi Stupa, which is in Madhya Pradesh. It is the most famous of Ashokan stupas. And also Piprava Stupa. It is in Uttar Pradesh, and it is said to be the oldest stupa. Difference between Ashokan pillars and Achaemenian pillars. So the composition of Ashokan pillar was a shaft of Ashokan pillars, and it was monolithic, that is a single piece of stone was used for the entire pillar, and the stone mainly used was Chunar sandstones. And the Achaemenian pillar, it was composed of various pieces of stones, and it was cemented together. The location of Ashokan pillar, it were independently erected by royal diction, and the location of Achaemenian pillars, it were generally attached to the state buildings. Now let's discuss about the popular art of Mauryan art and architecture. So apart from this royal patronage, cave architecture, sculpture and pottery took the expression of art by individual effort, and these were grouped together as a popular forms of art and architecture. And among that, cave architecture is a first type. So this period, it saw the emergence of rock-cut caves architecture. And during the Mauryan period, these caves were generally used as viharas, that is, we can say it as living quarters. And who used to live there were Jains and Buddhist monks. The early caves, it were used by Ajivika sect, and later they became popular as Buddhist monasteries. The caves during the Mauryan period, it were marked by highly polished finish of the interior walls and the decorated gateways. So this is the decorated entrance of Barabar caves. And the examples of highly polished and the interior walls with decorative gateways are Barabar caves and Nagarjuni caves in Bihar. It were formed during the time of Dasharath, that is the grandson of Ashoka. Sculptures. Sculptures were used primarily for the decoration of stupas in the Torana and Medi and as a form of religious expression. Two famous sculptures of Mauryan period are Yaksha and Yakshi. They were the objects of worship that is related to all the three religions, that is Jainism, Hinduism and Buddhism. The earliest mention of Yakshi, it can be found in Silapadikaram, which is a Tamil text. And similarly, all the Jain Tirthankaras were associated with the Yakshi. Pottery. Pottery of the Mauryan period, it is generally referred to northern black polished ware, and they were characterized by this black paint and they were highly lustrous finish. That means they had a shining finish over its body, and it were generally used as luxury items. They have often been referred it as the highest level of pottery. This northern black polished ware, it is referred as highest level of pottery. In the next session, let's discuss about the post-Mauryan art. Thank you.